Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on Starline by singer-songwriter and guitarist out on the road with the 9th annual Allman Betts Family Revival Tour. We welcome Duane Betts.
Hey, how are you doing? Glad to be here.
Absolutely great, Duane. Let's go beyond the mic. When people see the Allman Betts Family Revival, what do you want them to experience?
This is just a really special thing that Devon and I have been doing. It started with Devon put together kind of a celebration for his father's life and catalog shortly after Greg passed away. So the inaugural revival was in San Francisco, and they had a date open. It actually, coincidentally, the date they had open was Greg's birthday.
Wow.
So Devon invited a bunch of his friends, and I was one of those friends. So the first one was in December of 2017. It was just a single show. And then now it's turned into an 18-city coast-to-coast tour. And it's basically a celebration of the catalog and music of the Allman Brothers Band, more specifically the songs of Greg Allman and Dickie Betts, and our two families' contribution to that catalog.
Why was working with Devon such a blessing for you?
Well, I mean, it's a blessing to work with so many people. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people that I'm really grateful to work with. I mean, the thing with me and Devon is that we share a very unique bond, because we're family. Our families have this. We're tied together.
Yep.
When we met, I was like 12 and he was 15 or somewhere around there, 16. And the same goes for any of the kids of the band. I mean, we know we're tied together, but Devon and I share a very specific, special bond because we have a lot of pride in the songs, and frankly, any of those songs were either written by his father or my father, or they're blues covers. But there aren't really any songs from the 1970s, from the early, unless you go to the 90s, or you get my drift here.
Yep.
So we have a lot of pride in that. We share a lot of pride, and we take a lot of pride in it, and we really enjoy this celebration. We have a lot of amazing guests every year. Some are kind of, there's some mainstays that we have kind of every year that we kind of count on having every year, like Jimmy Hall and Luther Dickinson, Cody Dickinson, and then the cast of characters rotates, and so this year we have the amazing Judith Hill, Amanda Shires, who is
Amazing.
fantastic. We call her the Texas Dynamo. Robert Randolph. So yeah, we're really blessed to be able to share the stage with so many great talents.
You said, quote, "It's a magical feeling being alive. There's darkness, but there's so much beauty in this big world. Nature never disappoints. It's never wrong. It just is, and that's enough for me," unquote. How has the way you see the world changed these last couple of years without your dad?
It's kind of like facing the inevitable. It was almost, I miss him a lot, but it really, the leading up to it and the saying goodbye was kind of gut-wrenching. I mean, that was a really beautiful time, but it was a very gut-wrenching time, and I'm grateful for every second of it. But now I feel like nature has taken it. I mean, I miss him, but he's there with me. I mean, I play guitar, especially in this music. I mean, that's just how I play, and I'm not. I don't know if I would say I'm out there every night because I'm trying to channel my dad and make people think that that's not really what I would say, but it's kind of second nature, and it kind of if you're playing that music and I play the way I play and I'm playing from the heart, it's only natural that that might occur. Um, so yeah, I mean, it was pretty gut wrenching that last year when he would, he had his 80th birthday at a show, and it just he was trying, and he wasn't in great shape, but he was there. I mean, that was probably the hardest for me, and the most beautiful, and I was really grateful to have him there, but it was it was definitely, um, you know, like a goodbye. So now I feel like we're just he's very proud. I feel like he's proud, and we're doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. And
How did your dad help your love of music? I mean, you grew up with music. You had this passion that he shared with you.
I mean, I just music was always a great release, and I always, as a kid, I would put on my headphones and just go into what many of us do, whether I was be at the airport traveling, I would put on my Walkman in the 80s and put on whatever I was listening to, whether it was, Run DMC or heavy metal. I mean, I like a lot of music. I mean, I don't know how deep. It's kind of early. I don't know how deep I want to get into all the music I was listening to, but I mean, I have my phases. I'd say in my teens, when I started playing guitar, because I switched from drums to guitar. I was a drummer, and I switched to guitar when I was around 13. And then when I started getting the hang of guitar and figuring out that, oh, I can learn this stuff because I know that song and I know that sound. So if there's another song that has that same chord change, I recognize it, so I can learn that. And I started kind of finding that I had a pretty good ear, a pretty good knack for being able to tell what chord changes were and stuff. I would just sit for hours and hours and hours listening and playing to CDs, records, but CDs is what I would spend all my money on. CDs. This was in the '90s, early mid '90s was when I really came to be a guitar player, and learning. I was listening to everything from Smashing Pumpkins to John Coltrane to BB King to um, I mean, Public Enemy to, I mean, I was listening to a lot of stuff.
Duane Betts from the 9th annual Allman Betts Family Revival Tour joins us beyond the mic, and it's time for the Rocking 8. 8 random questions, just trust your first instinct. There was no pressure. Since you love music so much, were you ever a member of the Columbia House Music Club?
No.
Favorite album that isn't yours or your dad's?
I would have to say, just for a good rock and roll record, I mean, it's kind of cliche, but something from the Stones, maybe Exile or Sticky Fingers.
Very nice. Best thing about a dog?
Loyalty, just friendship and camaraderie.
What was your favorite concert that you went to as a fan, not as a performer?
I went to see, I was a big Smashing Pumpkins fan I got into them in 1991, and I saw them when Siamese Dream came out in '93. I saw them in Tampa, Florida, at a place that was packed and it held about 1,000 people. That was a pretty cool concert.
Best place to play a show at?
I mean, it's cliche, but uh, I always kind of say this. I'd say Red Rocks is probably the coolest place to play.
Everyone loves the Red Rocks. What was the first guitar you ever played, and who gave it to you?
My first guitar was a Paul Reed Smith, that he had given Warren one. He had given my dad one, and It had the 5-way toggle switch. I don't know what the model is called, but I still have it. I still have it. That was my first guitar.
Nice. Who's the one person you'd love to play a show with?
I'd love to sit in with somebody that's kind of out of my world a little bit, like not in the American Southern Americana whatever roots. I mean, if I would love to like sit in with Radiohead, that would be cool.
Very cool. How do you drink your coffee?
It depends. If it's really good coffee, I like it black. If I'm doing I like steamed milk drinks that have like a cortado after
Yes.
lunch. I like a cappuccino for I like a cappuccino or black coffee when I wake up, and then after lunch I'll usually do either a cortado, sometimes espresso if it's like Italian food. I'll just order espresso at the restaurant if they have good espresso. Yeah, I mean it just depends.
Duane Betts joins us beyond the mic. You released your solo album, Wild and Precious Life, been in a guitar picker for hire. Why was a solo project important for you?
I just had some songs that I needed to get off my chest, and I wanted to do a record of all of my own songs, me singing everything. And it really was Susan Tedeschi. I ran into Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi at a birthday party actually down in the Florida Keys, and I was telling them I had some songs I wanted to do, and Susan kind of pushed me to do. She said, "Oh, well, you should do that, and you should do it at our studio. You should come up to Jacksonville and do it at our place." So I ended up doing it in Jacksonville at Swamp Raga, which is their home studio, and they were obviously very, very cool and to have me. And Derek played on it, and I had Marcus King on that record and Nikki Bloom. Um, so yeah, I'm really proud of that record. I actually have another one that I haven't announced it yet, but I have another one coming out next year. So that
Outstanding news.
yeah, yeah, that I did with Dave Cobb produced it, but it's not announced yet.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Yeah, well,
How comfortable was working in the recording studio after being on the road for years? And what did you take away from being in the studios these last couple times?
well, the studios. I mean, it's really comfortable if you're with somebody that you trust and their opinion. I mean, if you're working with somebody that you're butting heads with all day that you don't really like anything that they're doing, then it would be an excruciating experience, I would imagine. But my studio experiences are usually really relaxed. You know, whether we're doing an Allman Betts record or we're doing whatever record you're doing, some songs can be a bitch to nail down and get right, but you got to get them right. A lot of times if you're recording live, and just kind of going back and fixing stuff and maybe redoing a vocal a little bit here and there or redoing something, um, sometimes the first take or the first, second, or third take is the best. I mean, you can keep doing them, but a lot of times you go back and you know that one up front has a certain magic. So um, yeah, I mean the producers and the folks that I've worked with are all make things really easy, and we all share ideas, similar ideas and thought. And when you work with somebody like Dave Cobb, you're kind of, even if I might question something, the reason that you have him is because you want him to put his input in and do things that maybe you wouldn't do because instinctively you wouldn't think of that.
So, who inspires you musically currently, Dwayne?
There's a lot of great music out. I mean, I like a lot of the um, I like Charlie Crockett and Marcus King, and
Love Charlie Crockett.
I like people like that are more um, on that kind of American, country and whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of great stuff as far as artists that have just come out. Like this year, I probably would have to go back and look, but there's a lot of stuff that I hear that I really like.
So who doesn't get the credit you think they deserve?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people. I'm not really one to, I mean, in the history of rock and roll, or just like recently.
Up to you.
I don't know. I don't really have a person that I'm like, that I have a beef with because I don't think they get the credit they deserve. I mean, there's a lot of great guitar players that weren't in great bands that would, if they were in bigger bands or if they had a cooler, um, if they were, that maybe they would be talked about more as guitar gods. But I mean, I can just talk about what I like.
Sure. What's just the one funny moment from the tour? Going on tour, there's always one moment, whether it was the guy who wanted to tip my band a bag of crack cocaine to...
Boy. Oh boy, I haven't ever had that happen, but I mean,
What's one moment from the tour where we just went like this? We're like, okay, thank you, and the band gave it to me and say, Sean, get rid of that.
somebody actually did tip me a bag of powder cocaine actually last year, and I'm sober. I've been sober for almost 10 years because I went through all that and for many, many years. Um, but yeah, somebody gave me something and I knew probably what it was, but I knew I wasn't going to do it. And so I go backstage and I open it up in the dressing room and it's like a gram of blow. And I just was like, hey, look at this. And I mean, I flushed it down the toilet because, we don't really mess with that anymore.
How has your sobriety changed the way you see music?
It just makes it a lot easier to function in general. I just am so grateful for the gift of music, and it's one of the great joys of my life to play music. There's times when I can appreciate just having like a bottle of water and like a nicely made cortado after lunch, and I'm go to sound check and I plug in my amp and my amp works. I don't have a million pedals. I have a very simple setup, but I like to have a guitar that I like that sounds pretty good. It's funny because my guitar sounds pretty damn good. It's the number one, the prototype of my father's signature model, the number one prototype. He played this guitar for, on and off for about 10 years. And then I played it on and off for about 10 years. And it's a good sounding guitar. The last show we did in Clearwater was close to home. So I brought out the real one, the 57.
Yeah.
And it destroyed it. I mean, it was night and day. And I was like, wow,
The juice in that guitar.
this guitar just put the guitar that I thought sounded pretty damn good to shame. But I mean that's why they're so highly coveted. Um, but yeah, just being able to appreciate those little things. And I love plugging in at soundcheck on a nice stage, even on a small stage where I'm like, man, gosh, I wish this stage was bigger and it wasn't. When we're doing if I'm doing a smaller gig, I'm grateful for every moment of it. I really love the travel. Um, and when you're on dope, I mean, that stuff becomes, you have a job within a job. It's to stay well. I mean, it depends on what you're doing, but without getting too far into talking about that stuff, I mean, if you're on opiates, then you need to continue taking them or you will be sick and probably won't be able to get up on stage. Um, so that's it just opens your eyes to just a much bigger, brighter world, to be away from that.
Duane Betts joins us beyond the mic for the impossible question. Duane, if you could recreate one moment again with your late dad, what would it be?
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't recreate any of them because I had them and I cherished them. And I don't need to. I mean, I have like so many great memories, you know. So no, I wouldn't change anything. You know, he was who he was, and I am who I am, and it's a beautiful thing.
He was originally a drummer, loved Smashing Pumpkins, and wants you to experience the 9th annual Allman Betts Family Revival Tour. Duane Betts, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, man. Really nice talking.
And that, my friends, is Beyond the Mic. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.